Nolly of our speakers, someone who is well known and throughout the region and in our county, and needs no further introduction because he leads by example. We have the honor to have with us today our very own Harris County Judge, the Honorable Ed Emmett.
I'm not scheduled to cut the ribbon for a little while, so I have a few things I want to say this morning. First, I'm glad to see all of you here, but I grew up in a little town called New London, Texas. And for those of you that don't know, that's in the middle of the East Texas oil field. And back in the 1950s, you know, when you're a kid, you don't think life's ever going to change. I mean, I'd see the oil field gang trucks come and go, and the pipe yards were all there, and there were all these jobs, and that's just the way life was always going to be. And, you know, my father worked for Humble Oil his entire career. It's the only job he ever had, working for Humble Oil. Started in an oil field, moved up from position to position, no college degree. We went back to New London, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? And of course, it's dead. Oil fields moved on, and you realize that your view of life as a child really isn't accurate. You know, when you get to be an adult, you suddenly have to come to the grips with the fact that, you know, finding a job and keeping a job depends on a lot of other factors beyond just yourself. The days of somebody going to work for one company and keeping that job for 40 years is really, really difficult. And so we always have to recognize the need for matching skills and availability and talent with positions. And that's what this is all about right here. And even though, yes, we live in a world where communication is virtually instantaneous, an individual can't do it by themselves in many, many cases. It requires a team. And this is a team, and so that's why I was pleased to be here this morning. But think about Harris County for a minute. I'm thrilled with this location. It's one of the things I talk about all the time. 4.2 million people live in Harris County, Texas. Of those 4.2 million, 500,000 live inside Loop 610. 1.5 million roughly live between Loop 610 and Beltway 8. And the other 2 million plus live outside Beltway 8. And when I moved here in 1966, you know, you could still say, well, this is where the poor people lived, and this is where this group lived, and that group lives. Today, you can't do that. Harris County's got more people than 24 states, and people of all types, of all economic means, live throughout the county. So having a facility like this out here next to the Beltway is critical because it's going to serve so many people. And we tend to forget that all those people who live out, and let's face it, we haven't done a real great job with mass transit in our area. So it's kind of hard for people to get places. And so being out in the community, I think, is absolutely critical. And then the final thing I have to say is we tend to look at the job that's being done here as a one-on-one, as something that, okay, you're helping this individual. But never forget the fact that you're not helping that individual. You're helping that individual, plus their families, and generations to come. Because, you know, go back to my father. You know, if he hadn't had that job in the East Texas oil field, he wouldn't have been able to provide for me coming up and push the fact that I was going to go to college. And so I became the first of my family to graduate from college. That story's out there over and over and over. And so the things that are being done at this facility, yes, they pay great dividends, but the people who work here can go home at night understanding fully that they're not only helping individuals, but they're really helping generations to come. So thank you very much.